As the pyro flames fly into the air around the perimeter of the pitch here at the Parc des Princes. Mosaics in the crowd. It's mainly red and blue. The flags have been flying earlier as well. The Villa fans in the corner drowned out by the noise of the ultras. Ici et Paris, it says in a big banner across the way from where we're sitting in the Parc des Princes. A couple of little things to mention. Emi Martinez arrived in Paris wearing a cap with the French coquerolon, but covered up by the Argentina crest and images of their successes. The Argentina national team. French do not like Emi Martinez after that penalty shootout falling around in the final in Qatar 3 years ago. He's dyed a little part of his hair blue and white for Argentina tonight. He's right in the mood to wind them up, but he's got to back it up with a performance, Andy Townsend.
Yes, well, usually Emi Martinez is 100% reliable in that respect. He's been outstanding at times. Yeah, you're right. So tonight he likes to just give him a little bit back, a little bit of mind games there. I think he's got the confidence, most certainly, to back that up and to make sure that he does his bit between the sticks tonight. He's going to have an excellent game, no doubt. PSG, they create so many chances. They should be called PXG, this team, because they create so many situations. So Emi Martinez is going to have his hands full tonight. Blue and white hair or not, he's got to be on it.
And as Andy's talking, the flames are still flying around the pitch, and a huge tifo away to our left. It's a skull with a flat cap on, and it's from the ultras of PSG, the ultras of Paris. Unbelievable. It covers two tiers, and they know how to provide an atmosphere here in the build-up to games. I was here for PSG Marseille, the grudge match in Ligue 1 a couple of years ago. Never witnessed anything like it. It was absolutely sensational. Prince William, very quickly, said before that he's predicted 2-1 to Aston Villa tonight, and all the Villa fans will take that. But he's been hugging every single Villa player after the warm-up as they went back to the dressing room. Will the players... Is that good for the players, or is it's something big? It's something different, isn't it?
It's something very different, and again, I think it's all done with for the right reasons and with the right intent. I don't think the players are going to be thinking about that as we speak right now. It was a nice gesture, and let's hope that the Prince William sees a rocking Villa performance. No question that he loves his team and he loves watching them. He's prepared to travel and go everywhere to see them. We've seen that already this season. So let's hope they produce a big performance tonight. He enjoys it.
Well, listen, the atmosphere here is sensational, but that won't faze the Villa players as they come out onto the pitch here at the Parc des Princes, because they know how to create an atmosphere back at Villa Park. And you can guarantee next week we'll be there on Talksport, and that atmosphere will be equally, if not more, sensational. You come to Paris for fashion and food. Talksport's here for football, and Aston Villa on the latest leg of their Champions League adventure. Their toughest assignment yet. They take on the side that humiliated Manchester City, the side that knocked out Liverpool, the side that are already French champions and are desperate to become what Villa were 43 years ago, European champions. Paris Saint-Germain against Aston Villa, live from the Parc des Princes on Talksport with your commentary team, former Villa captain Andy Townsend, alongside Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian, and a very good evening to you on the night that so many wouldn't have dared dream could ever materialise. You'd have to be nearly 50 to remember Villa playing in a European game bigger than this one, in the halcyon days of the club's post-war era, when domestic and continental success came to a new romantic soundtrack. Return to the European Cup quarter-finals is all the sweeter for the waiting, and all the more remarkable given the context that 6 years ago this week they were playing at Rotherham, scrambling for a place in the Championship playoffs. The less than 2.5 years ago they were in the midst of a relegation battle, labouring without direction or a manager, needing to ensure that they got the appointment right. And Unai Emery's been at the heart of everything they've done since. He left Villarreal and sorted Villa real quick, and the rest is history in the making. He'd already won 4 European trophies, but he had a point to prove to an English audience, and to an extent he still does, to a Parisian one. Because PSG's a club where success is only measured on the continental stage, and 2 round of 16 exits in his time here dwarfed all the domestic success, particular in the manner of them. Tonight's his first trip back, adding a personal agenda to his desire to mastermind Villa's biggest win for decades. And this is the team he's picked. Martinez in goal, Cash, Konsa, Pau Torres and Digne, Tielemans and Kamara, Rodgers, McGinn and Ramsey, and Rashford. The bench, Disasi, Mings, Barkley, Manson, Bakada and Nana, Watkins and Asensio, Proctor and Olsen. PSG, Donnarumma in goal, Hakimi, Beraldo, Pancho and Nuno Mendes, João Neves, Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz, Doué, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia. And the PSG bench, Kimpembe, Ramos and Lee, Luke Hernandez, Maulu, Barcola, Zaire Emery, Mbaye, and the goalkeepers, Safanov and Tenas. Referee tonight is Maurizio Mariani from Italy. Villa in their change kit of all white, and PSG in predominantly dark blue with the red central stripe down the front of the shirt. And they're in a huddle. It's the way to our right-hand side. The Villa players have broken away from theirs to our left. So for the first time since 1983, Villa embark on a European Cup quarter-final. In their way, the newly crowned French champions, conquerors of Liverpool, who've been nearly foot perfect in 2025. But Unai Emery's Parisian history underlines that in this competition, anything can happen, that odds can be defied. Can his side deliver in one of their biggest games for years? These are the nights you never forget, that will be forever discussed and dissected through the mists of time. It is time to write a fresh page in Aston Villa history. And they've got the game underway, kicking from left to right. Long ball sent forward by Martinez. Cash wins the seconds with a little deft header into PSG territory. And then Ezri Konsa, who played so well for England in the two recent games, able to pick the ball up in the midfield, finding Pau Torres into the feet of Ramsey, who was put under immediate pressure. Ramsey dispenses with the ball and then runs out towards the left-hand side. A little reverse ball from him for Marcus Rashford to chase. But it's mopped up at the back by Hakimi for PSG, who then gives a first touch to Donnarumma. I'm delighted to say the Villa captain Andy Townsend's alongside me. I know nothing would give you greater pleasure than losing the epithet of being the last Villa captain to live something.
Absolutely right, Jim. I'm really looking forward, hopefully, to Villa coming through what is an incredibly difficult night. And then, of course, it's only half done whatever happens here. But I'd love to think that they could be playing against Arsenal in a Champions League semi-final. Listen, a lot to happen between now and then. First things first, start the game well. Individually, you make sure you get your own game sorted as we get going. And then you make sure you start dragging one or two others around you if they're not quite there. Vitally important against such a good unit, such a good team, this PSG outfit. They really are. Vitally important that Villa start really well.
Vitinha playing the ball into the edge of the centre circle for Doué. And it's worked back towards Beraldo on the right of the two centre halves for PSG, who come here having won 6 in a row. Villa have won 7. PSG have won 16 of the last 17, 21 of the last 23. And the only game that they've lost in that time ended up being irrelevant because they turned that defeat against Liverpool round in the second leg. They're making steady progress into Villa territory here, with Vitinha into the feet of Dembele. 27 goals in his last 23 matches. Back for Desiree Doué again, the teenager who's had a breathtaking season. A good quick feet there, setting up an opportunity on the edge of the penalty area, which is fired way over the bar by Dembele. A little early sighter with 2.5 gone at 0-0.
Yeah, lovely work from Desiree Doué. Just playing in that number 10 position, just invited a couple of Villa challenges, then just poked it through a little gap to Ousmane Dembele. 30 yards from goal, turns, strides about 5 or 6 yards, hits it with his left foot, hits it miles over the bar.
The boos and whistles that you can hear are for Emi Martinez. There will be a constant, recurring theme every time he's got the ball at his feet. And the crowd will be voicing their displeasure, which is all born of that World Cup final penalty shootout victory back in 2022. The goal kick that Villa took has got to be retaken because PSG were just a little bit quick in breaking as Villa played it to Martinez. Now they do it again, and he clears it and smacks it straight out of play.
Yeah, that's a really eager front foot press from PSG. Villa particularly good with Emi Martinez when they want to keep it at the back and roll it into midfield players. Weren't allowed to do it there because PSG were on the edge of the 18-yard box. As soon as Martinez got that ball, Dembele sprinted at him. Martinez quite rightly served it forward straight back into the hands of PSG.
Here's Kvaratskhelia, the January signing, laying the ball back for Vitinha, then rolled forward into the feet of João Neves in the midfield. Kvaratskhelia got it again and sends the ball spinning out towards the right-hand side for PSG. Now to Achraf Hakimi with the captain's armband tonight in the absence of Marquinhos. Kvaratskhelia coming into a more central area. Vitinha, another player that has really blossomed over the last couple of years since his days at Wolves. And he will pick it up again, 20 outside the box. Just working it onto his right foot, then his left, and going back behind square for Fabian Ruiz. Down from him to Nuno Mendes, trying to take the ball with him, the PSG left back. Kamara comes out, commits himself. Kvaratskhelia knocks it past him. Vitinha lays it off to his right-hand side. An opportunity potentially for Doué to get a shot in, and then Martinez dives to his right-hand side and is able to cover the resulting effort from João Neves.
It's nice football from PSG. Kvaratskhelia is a very gifted individual. He's not the quickest player. He's playing left of three up front for PSG. Not the quickest, but technically brilliant. Absolutely wonderful ball control, and it was he that started that little move that finished with that shot from Vitinha. But Emi Martinez did well to just gather to his right-hand side. But confident, brisk start from the home team.
Kvaratskhelia is blocked off. And a free kick goes PSG's way on the halfway line. Still 0-0 here on Talksport. 5 minutes gone. This is the first ever meeting of these two sides. Villa have never won in France, including a defeat to Monaco back in January. Now, PSG's home record against English opposition isn't great. Only 6 wins in 16 as the ball is worked forward here for Dembele, who's offside. And it's a free kick that Villa will take just outside their own penalty area. Talking about Unai Emery's record here earlier. Won the domestic treble in his second season, still regarded in these parts as a failure. But he did win a domestic treble. And worth repeating that he only lost 2 of his 53 matches on this ground as the PSG coach. His current side have brought the ball forward here with Cash, but he's given it away. Just passed it straight over the halfway line for Nuno Mendes. Vitinha back for Fabian Ruiz. Now Hakimi to Doué, who's just come in off that right flank. The ball played back to the heart of the back line for Pacho, the Ecuadorian international. He's got a couple of goals for his country, but has never scored a club goal. Worked forward again by PSG. It's quite a slow, measured build-up. Now they will try and get around the back of Digne. Dembele pulled it back and wins the first corner. The sliding challenge comes in on him from Conte.
Yeah, really good challenge that. Important block on Ousmane Dembele. Villa just got to be careful early on that you don't go too passive, you don't sit behind the ball and allow PSG all the room in the world to just pick their passes and then explode into life when it matters.
The corner is worked short. Hakimi back in for Kvaratskhelia inside the penalty area. He's gone to ground. The referee waves the appeals away. And then a shot from a tight angle is well tipped away by Emi Martinez. And it goes out of play for a corner. Well, it's just a little nibble on Kvaratskhelia as he turned inside and he stumbled and then got back to his feet that might have saved Aston Villa.
Correct, Jim. Take the corner short.
Again, this one on the left flank. 0-0. PSG on top in the early stages here on Talksport. And Dembele has conceded a goal kick this time as Cash just flicked it into him. Then it comes back off him and out of play.
Yeah.
Emi Martinez will take his time over this 8-gone 0-0.
Just coming back to that Kvaratskhelia moment in the box. I think if he certainly drew the foul. I think if he hits the floor and stays down, he gets the pen. I really do. But he bounced back up. And I'm not going to knock it to his credit. He bounced back up trying to keep it all going. He ended up knocking it onto Ousmane Dembele. A rasping 20-yarder from a tight angle that Martinez did well to save. But I think if Kvaratskhelia stays on the floor, he could well get the pen there.
PSG in possession again with Nuno Mendes. It's coming out of the centre circle and down for Kvaratskhelia, the Georgian who had a fine European Championship on Serie A with Napoli a couple of years ago and arrived here in a €70 million deal back in January. João Neves now in the heart of the midfield. Hakimi coming in from right back will take up a central role, and that creates a little bit of space outside him for Doué, who's in possession now. Work back by him for Vitinha. Vitinha to João Neves. João Neves just turning away, flicking it back out towards the right flank again for Ruiz. A real fluency. PSG so easy on the eye in an attacking context. Hakimi, no flag up against him as he makes a darting run right hand side of the penalty area. Pull back towards the edge of the box here. Vitinha coming onto it. Can't get himself into a shooting position. Kvaratskhelia cutting away from Cash. Delivers a low ball. Dembele with a shot. Nuno Mendes actually was about 9-10 yards out, and that deflects high up in the air for the subsequent Kvaratskhelia cross. Sails behind and goes out of play for a goal kick. Well, listen, 9 minutes in, Villa know they're in a game.
Yeah, they certainly do already, yeah. It's been a really, really sharp start from PSG. Serving the ball forward at every opportunity. Hakimi, the right back, has played almost like a number 10 so far in his opening 10 minutes. He's tucked right in and pushed on. Nuno Mendes has pushed on. And the game being played to the tempo of João Neves, Fabian Ruiz and Vitinha. They are the boys at the moment that are dictating what's going on out there.
Now 3 games in the Championship tonight. Oxford 0, QPR 1. Swansea have doubled their lead against Plymouth. And Coventry against Portsmouth is our live game over on Talksport 2. The deadlock yet to be broken in the other Champions League tie. Barcelona, who are unbeaten in 22, taking on a Borussia Dortmund side who've lost 5 of their last 10 on the road. That one still 0-0. And an opportunity for Villa to bring the ball forward for the first time with Morgan Rogers. We've not seen anything of Aston Villa's attacking players so far. Rogers with a low scuffed cross which was easily cleared, and a nice touch from Fabian Ruiz for Kvaratskhelia. Cash is in there right in his back and ended up pulling him down, and it's a free kick to PSG midway inside their own half.
Yeah, it's really impressive when you watch PSG, their hunger, their appetite to win the ball back as soon as they give it away. I mean, they are swarming all over the white shirts of Villa every time the ball slips away from them. You're right, Jim, we haven't really seen Rashford, Rogers or Ramsey yet as an attacking 3 at all.
The ball goes out of the PSG right-hand side for Doué. He's got Dembele behind him. Doué will continue his run. Hakimi fires it in. A little looping deflection headed away by Konsa, and then Ramsey chases after it over on the Villa left-hand side. He's able to poke the ball forward. Vitinha, who's been everywhere in the opening stages, picks it up again and just works the ball across the midfield out towards the PSG left. Kvaratskhelia coming forward towards the edge of the box. A low skidder from him across the edge of the area is easily cleared. Villa in all white, kicking from left to right, getting bodies behind the ball and defending effectively enough so far. Villa coming into this on the back of some really good form. 7 wins in a row. They're the best record as a top flight side since 1981. But already with their work cut out here, they have been able to venture forward over halfway and win a free kick. John McGinn brought down by João Neves.
That's their best bit of football so far in the game. Started with Marcus Rashford just keeping possession, hanging on to it. The boys at the back started knocking it across. Eventually, it came in from Ezri Konsa to John McGinn. He backed into Fabian Ruiz, rolled him a little bit, travels over the halfway line until he draws a foul and gets a free kick. So the first little bit of respite for Villa and the chance for them to perhaps just clip something up and into the edge of the 18-yard box against PSG.
Villa taking their time in the setup. Rogers standing inside the penalty area. Rashford in a very offside position near the penalty spot. We're waiting for the PSG back line to drop deep. High ball played in. Donnarumma came a long way. He's now completely stranded. Punched the first one clear. It was hooked back into the penalty area from the left-hand side of the box. PSG get that away, Poor decision making from Donnarumma, who got himself stuck in no man's land pretty quickly.
I agree with you, Jim. He's come out way too far and could only get fingertips onto that, and it was half a chance for a moment for Jacob Ramsey just to find a white shirt in the box. Couldn't do it.
And Morgan Rogers in the yellow boots, chasing forward down the Aston Villa right-hand side as the decision's actually gone against Rogers and Cash. It's going to be a free kick that will be taken by PSG on the left-hand side. 0-0, 13 minutes gone. Villa, as we've mentioned, Andy, hanging in there. They haven't been able to do anything more constructive than that up to this point. Just laying a solid foundation.
Yep. Just making sure as much as they can. They get back behind the ball. They keep a solid shape. Those boys at the back have got to make sure they're talking to Yuri Tielemans and Camara. When Dembele drops just in behind those two midfield boys, nothing worse for a midfield player. A ball is played just to the side of you and a striker picks it up and turns and runs at your back four. So they've got to make sure that they get all aspects and all facets of their defensive work spot on at the moment, Villa. It's been quite a test for them this opening spell.
Now Fabian Ruiz has fed Kvaratskhelia. There's just a little collision in the midfield off the ball involving McGinn, who stayed down for a moment. He's back on his feet, not complaining. Vitinha has it again. Oh, right-footed ball swung in. Hakimi chests it down. Martinez comes out, narrows the angle well, and makes sure that it's nothing worse than a corner. In fact, I think a goal kick ultimately was given. Martinez judged to have been able to flick the ball back into Hakimi and out of play.
Yeah, Jacob Ramsey slept there, and Hakimi made a run in behind him. As it is, I think Hakimi fancies a corner, but Jacob Ramsey, just for a split second ball watch, very nearly got caught out. It was an excellent ball switching from left to right to Hakimi from Vitinha. He took it on his chest, and it was always going to be difficult for him to do something with it. He feels he should have had a corner. It's actually a really good call. It hits the goalkeeper, comes back off Hakimi for a goal kick.
Kamara plays it forward. Konsa is then fouled, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa. You're listening to PSG against Villa in the Champions League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Making a big move or planning a clear out? Well, with vans of all shapes and sizes, if you've got a plan, they've got a van. And it's 0-0 with 15 minutes gone. 15 minutes that have taken a while as far as Villa are concerned. I'm sure the clock is ticking pretty slowly. They're doing their best to manage the situation, taking the sting out of a lot of these restarts. Emi Martinez now fires the ball forward, some 70 yards. Rogers flicking it on, knocked away easily by Pacho on the edge of his own penalty area. Slightly awkward control from Konsa, brought it down on his thigh, then lost it. Kvaratskhelia, Cash comes back, is forced to foul him really, and gets a yellow card. Well, Kvaratskhelia dispossessing Konsa, showed him a clean pair of heels. Cash came back, he could smell the danger, brings him down, and it's booked.
Poor decision from Ezri Konsa there, and that was then followed by poor control. He was under pressure on the halfway line, tried to control it on his thigh, and it was bobbling around really off both legs before Kvaratskhelia got it. Matty Cash actually gets back, makes, I think, a reasonable challenge, but puts his arm on his shoulder. Kvaratskhelia goes down, free kick, and was that a yellow card, Jim, as well?
Yeah. Yes, it was, yeah. And there are 3 Villa players who are on yellow cards. They will miss the second leg if they're booked tonight. That's Rashford, Digne and Kamara. Also substitute Axel Disasi as well. As far as PSG are concerned, only Fabian Ruiz is walking the yellow card tightrope already without Marquinhos tonight because of suspension. Villa have lined up on the edge of their own penalty area to defend this free kick. Kvaratskhelia has received treatment. Surely he's got to go off. Oh no, it was a bookable offence, I beg your pardon. So he's okay, he doesn't have to go back off. It's a PSG free kick, which is just over 20 yards outside the penalty area. Vitinha standing over this, hits it right-footed square. Hakimi taking a touch, now letting fly, and it bobbles through. Martinez got his body behind it and made a comfortable save.
Yeah, decent enough strike from Hakimi. Straight at Emi Martinez, no problem at all for the goalkeeper. Martinez
bowls the ball to the edge of his penalty area. And now we'll play it forward left foot. It's not the best one from Pau Torres, who's Well, that Villarreal side under Emery that reached the semi-finals of the Champions League a few years back, only to go out to Liverpool. Hakimi Doué are trying a little rainbow flick on the turn, but it came off Digne and then back into Doué and goes out for a throw that Luca Digne will take. He played nearly 50 games here at PSG, not a particularly successful spell between 2013 and 2016. Asensio on the bench played a similar number of games, or has done so far. He's on loan at Villa from PSG, but only among the substitutes tonight. Villa playing out from the back almost to a fault, and now as it's worked forward over the top towards Morgan Rogers, it's just shoved Nuno Mendes under the flight of the ball to give a free kick away.
So far Marcus Rashford and Morgan Rogers haven't had a kick. Haven't really, particularly Morgan Rogers hasn't received the ball really and got himself in a position at all where he might set up Nuno Mendes and maybe get at him. At the moment, Villa have been more concerned with backpedaling and making sure they're back in numbers.
Vitinha playing the ball out towards the right-hand side of the midfield as Swansea go 3 up against Plymouth in the Championship. Now the ball played out of the PSG right. Doué with another clever little flick and has won a free kick that'll be taken over on the right flank. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football, and it is still 0-0 here on Talksport.
Yep, free kick awarded there, so a chance for Vitinha again to wind something in towards the penalty spot. And they don't have Marquinhos, who is particularly good in the air. He's not a giant centre-half, Marquinhos, but attacks the ball really well. Don't have him, but Beraldo and Pacho in particular, they will be in there searching for it, looking for it, trying to get their head on it.
Well, Villa defending zonally. They've got a line of 7, about 10, 11 yards from goal. Now Beraldo waits on the edge of the penalty area. And he's going to be able to make ground to come in and run and attack this ball, which is fired in now. Kamara is able to head it away. Comes back out to the left-hand side of the penalty area where the retreating Nuno Mendes will sweep it back for Fabian Ruiz. Pacho's got it now. And Mendes to Fabian Ruiz again. Another former Napoli man in this PSG team. It just rolls it down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Villa sweep it up and get it away. Out for a throw that is taken quickly by João Neves. And then work by Beraldo out towards Vitinha. Lively, probably the shortest man on the field, but he's effervescent. Got a great energy about him with his black hair bobbling on a beautiful, still Parisian, gorgeous evening here in the French capital. Nuno Mendes. And back for the aforementioned Vitinha. He's looking up, surveying his options, not put under any real pressure. McGinn comes to close him down now, but he's able to work the ball past him out towards Fabian Ruiz. Back he comes for Vitinha again. Shuffling forward surreptitiously towards the edge of the penalty area. Out of the left-hand side of the box where Doué's just swapped flanks for a moment. Villa going to be able to bring it away, though. And it's Morgan Rogers that leads the counter-attack. Ball in behind Marcus Rashford, who retraced his steps well and was able to link up the plays. Knocked it back for Ramsey. Villa in possession in Parisian territory. That hasn't happened very often. They've just been forced back inside their own half temporarily. Kvaratskhelia has pushed Ramsey to the ground and Villa have got a free kick.
Yeah. Fast little break down the right side from Morgan Rogers this time, but he was outnumbered. Switched it very quickly to Rashford. He just lost possession there on the halfway line. Jacob Ramsey.
And from that free kick, PSG are able to bring it forward. Ramsey still down on his back on the edge of the centre circle. PSG have got it. Doué inside the box. Right-footed. Vitinha takes a touch and fires just over the bar.
I think Jacob Ramsey is hurt here. He is in some distress there, just into the Paris Saint-Germain half of the field. But they had a free kick there, Villa. They took it quickly. Ramsey it was who actually took the ball across the halfway line and appeared to clatter into some, whether he'd slipped, but it looks like he's in big trouble because he's not moved. And from there, Paris Saint-Germain strode forward. It ended up with a shot from Vitinha from about 20-22 yards. It was only about a yard over the top. It was a decent strike, but genuine concerns on the Villa bench here for Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah, but no thoughts of him getting back to his feet whilst he's receiving treatment. We'll find out what's been going on in the other Champions League tie tonight. Barcelona against Borussia Dortmund. And it's Talksport's Kevin Hatchard who's watching on for us. Kev?
Yeah, it's Barcelona 0, Dortmund 0. One-way traffic at the moment, though. Lamine Yamal's had a shot saved by Kobel and another effort just wide of the far post. It's Barcelona 0, Dortmund 0.
So goalless there in the Championship. Oxford 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1 at the Kassam. Swansea 3, Plymouth 0. The Plymouth 5 points adrift of safety. Games fast running out. They've got a terrible away record. They've only won once on the road all season. They won't be winning tonight, I don't think. Swansea 3, Plymouth 0. Live over on Talksport 2 for you right now. Coventry against Portsmouth is goalless. Coventry a point adrift of the playoffs, and only into the top 6 with a win tonight. Portsmouth 3 points above the drop zone at the start of play. We've got more live football coming your way tomorrow on the Talksport network. Manchester United in action away to Lyon. That is an 8 o'clock kickoff here on Talksport tomorrow. We've also got a couple of European quarterfinals on Talksport 2. Chelsea in Poland to take on Legia Warsaw. That kicks off at 5:45 in the Conference League quarterfinal first leg. And then join myself and Ben Mee at Spurs for Tottenham Frankfurt tomorrow in the Europa League quarterfinal first leg, also at 8 o'clock. 3 live games on the Talksport network tomorrow. The here and now, here at the Parc des Princes, it is goalless between PSG and Aston Villa. And Ramsey's received his treatment. He's still over on the far touchline, waiting for permission to come back on. Plays restart with PSG in possession. Doué's gone down. No foul. McGinn from distance. Let's fly. And that has literally come closer to the Villa fans than the goal.
Yeah, and that's because Jacob Ramsey was still off the field, actually. Their Villa were operating with 10 men. John McGinn had no support in and around him. Tried a shot from 30-odd yards, and it went about 30 yards wide. But it's not unexpected, Jim, the way that Villa have started the game. Villa, yes, I'd like to have seen them have a little more of the ball, but again, we spoke about the qualities of PSG, how good they've been, how confident they are. So I think Villa have actually, whilst they haven't played great, they've managed the first 25 minutes quite well, getting back behind the ball, making sure they squeeze and get tight to those dangerous forward players.
Hakimi heading the ball on the right-hand side of the penalty area, and he's able to stop it going out of play for a goal kick. He's laid it back, chipped inside the box. Martinez came out, punched it clear, and then Rodgers will try and help it further away. Nuno Mendes chased after it. McGinn did everything he could to keep it in on the right-hand touchline, but Nuno Mendes won the race and laid it back to Pacho. Now Vitinha can build through the midfield. Barcelona leading by a goal to nil. We'll get the details of the goal in a moment. PSG on the front foot with Dembele. Ball played out towards the right-hand side. Fabian Ruiz coming in off the right-hand touchline, running towards the edge of the penalty area. It's smuggled back to Martinez, who again is just about able to clear and find halfway. Let's get news of that Barca goal from Kevin Hatcher.
Well, Barcelona think they've taken the lead against Dortmund. A free kick headed back across goal. Stabbed goalwards by Pau Cubarsí. Touched in by Rafinha, but the checking if he was offside.
Kev, thank you very much. The ball chipped to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Nuno Mendes letting fly. And Kamara came back, got goal side, and although he turned as the shot came in, he got his right heel to it, flickered away, and out of play for a corner. That Barcelona goal has been given, and they lead Dortmund by a goal to nil. Barca 1, Dortmund 0. 0-0 here at the Parc des Princes, but it's been PSG that have done almost all of the attacking. They've got another corner here, their fourth. Again, works short. Played inside the penalty area and headed away by Rodgers, and then far down the right-hand touchline. Opportunity for Aston Villa on the counter-attack here with Marcus Rashford. He's got this excellent goal-scoring record against PSG. Just trying to flick the ball into the path of Ramsey, but just behind him, and PSG smuggling back for Donnarumma, who's a bag of nerves, and he was put under pressure by Rodgers, and it was nearly telling pressure, but they survive and play out.
Yeah, he was threatened just momentarily there, wasn't he, Donnarumma? It was Paris on the attack once more. As I mentioned, Hakimi really, really aggressive with his forward position. Been playing like a right winger since the get-go.
Dembele drops off 20 yards outside the Villa penalty area when he picks the ball up and then finds Doué. Back for Dembele again. Onto his left foot. Vitinha back behind square, wanting the ball to be played to him, and And he's the fulcrum in the midfield for PSG. Everything goes through him. Doué. Back onto his left foot and still driving forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Forced away. Kamara thought that he'd won possession back cleanly. He hadn't. Now PSG winning it back will be able to get it out of the left-hand side of the box for Kvaratskhelia. Pulled back by him. Nuno Mendes. Positioning of the referee doesn't do PSG any favours as they try and work the passing triangles. Doué slamming a ball inside the penalty area that Pau Torres can head clear. Back out for Nuno Mendes to Vitinha. Moving ahead of him from João Neves. Works his square for Hakimi, who, as Andy's been saying, has been playing in this more number 10 role rather than right back. He's gravitating into that area whenever he can. Now they'll try and spin the ball back out towards Hakimi's run, and Villa are able to knock it away. It's been another goal at Oxford. Here's Ian Abrahams.
Oxford 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Sam Field, the skipper, from close range, doubling the lead. Nothing Jamie Cumming can do about this. Oxford 0, QPR 2.
It'll have left them 7 points clear of the drop zone. It'll be their first win in 8 if they hold on there, leading at Oxford by 2-0. This one's still 0-0. McGinn cleverly letting the ball run across him. Rodgers will be able to take over. Works it out towards the Aston Villa left-hand side for Rashford. Now Rashford running with pace at the PSG back line. Gets to the edge of the penalty area. Forced to check back out again. He's got support behind him, which comes from Ramsey. Back from him to Tielemans, who's another player that we've hardly mentioned so far. Certainly don't have very much of the ball.
Yep.
Cash to Conser and back through the midfield once more, and Villa just take a little bit of breather in possession.
Yeah, just gone backwards with the ball there. I mean, Marcus Rashford at one point there was almost up on the edge of the 18-yard box, but he kept the ball sensibly. It's the first little considered spell of possession Villa have had, really. That's a sloppy one from Yuri Tielemans, trying to find Marcus Rashford in the box. He wants a more incisive run from Rashford. I tend to agree, but it wasn't a particularly good ball, and PSG have the ball back.
Yeah, he was quick to let him know that Rashford didn't make the movement that he was anticipating. Rashford, whose last Champions League goal was against Atalanta back in 2021. He hasn't scored in his last 10 ties in this competition, and even if he has netted in both games that he's ever played here at the Parc des Princes. 0-0 tonight, and we're 35 minutes in here on Talksport. 30 minutes in, I beg your pardon, here on Talksport.
Yeah, no real press from Villa. They're just getting back and holding their shape. If you remember the PSG ties against Liverpool, first 5 minutes here, Liverpool actually started the game really bright, and then of course Alisson went on that one-man show to somehow get them a victory on that night. But actually at Anfield as well, every time Liverpool tried to press them, PSG played through it really well and really fast and confidently. So I'm not surprised to see Villa just getting back behind the ball and just ushering players across the middle of the park, offering them a square pass, but trying to cut those forward ones out. That's better there. It's just a little bit of confusion between Dembele and Hakimi, and Villa have the throw-in. So that's very much the tactic for Villa so far. We get back behind the ball, and we apply gentle pressure. We don't sell ourselves, we don't put ourselves out of the game and give a teammate a problem. We make sure, stay on our feet, usher them across the field from side to side, just deny the ball into Dembele on the edge of the box.
So with 31 minutes in, and possession is 77-23 in PSG's favour. They've had 8 shots, but I think more significantly, for all the possession they've had through 31-32 minutes, they've only had 3 shots on target, and none of them have been big chances. So to a certain extent, that's a couple of boxes ticked from the Villa's perspective.
Correct, Jim. These two-legged ties, there's a lot of football to go here. You know, you can't win it in the first 10 or 15 minutes, but by going daft, you can certainly throw it away. So you've got to make sure that you give yourself a bit of a chance to gradually grow into the game.
Kvaratskhelia. Back to Vitinha. Vitinha just rolling it forward into the feet of Doué ahead of him. And Dembele drifting away into those pockets of space that he loves to take up. He just gravitates to the inside right position, trying to draw defenders out with him. Villa have been very regimented and disciplined so far in not allowing him to create an overload in there or elsewhere by his movement, with Villa players just following him in. Vitinha plays it forward, should be easily cleared by the Villa back line. Tielemans has done well and might be able to set Ramsey going again down the left. And although he is very well challenged, it's gone out of play for a throw that'll be taken over on the Villa left. Big night for the likes of Jacob Ramsey. Villa fan growing up,
Yes.
born in Great Bar, only a couple of miles away from the ground. And it means so much to him and his family. Villa at the moment can't get anything to stick up front as they work it forward. It's just coming back with a sense of inevitability.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think, the strongest part of Marcus Rashford as a 9. Ball's laid into his feet with his back to goal. He's not always the best at taking care of those situations. Of course, he wants to turn and run. Not always available, not always on to do that. He's got to make sure that when he does get hold of that ball, it sticks. And he looks for Tielemans, looks for Camara, drops it back to those boys and lets them make him and make the team tick. Great tackle. Go on.
That was John McGinn on Nuno Mendes. And all of a sudden it's 3 against 3. McGinn. Villa getting the bodies forward quickly. Chance for Tielemans, left-hand side of the area, rolls square. And Villa lead at the Parc des Princes through Morgan Rogers. Almost criminally against the run of play. But who cares? What a moment. The first meaningful attack of the night. Villa getting the ball forward. Gambled through the bodies to PSG territory. The ball rolls square. Rodgers had time to think about it. He could see the enormity of the moment, but he kept his head, his feet, and his nerve. And it's PSG 0, Aston Villa 1.
John McGinn did so well in the build-up to this goal. Pinched the ball on the halfway line. Villa always had a man over. Yuri Tielemans it was who got towards the byline with his left foot, cuts it back, and at the back post, totally unmarked. Morgan Rogers has just got to focus, concentrate, get a big side foot on it, and he slams it past Donnarumma to give Villa the lead. Yeah, albeit very much against the run of play, but that is a classic Champions League counter-attacking goal. Brilliant, brilliant work.
And the Aston Villa fans, heavily outnumbered here at the Parc des Princes, making themselves heard now from the far side of the arena. Songs of Villa, Villa. It is one of the biggest goals that those Villa supporters will ever have seen in the flesh. Those that weren't old enough to go to Rotterdam. That is a moment they will never forget. How important is it going to prove to be? Morgan Rogers, scorer of a Champions League hat-trick against Celtic, has now given Villa the lead at the Parc des Princes. Something tangible to protect and to hold. Over 145 minutes of football from here on in. Vitinha working the ball into the feet of Dembele. Hakimi playing it back. Vitinha's got it again. Brilliant execution of the game plan
fantastic.
from Aston Villa.
Excellent stuff.
Just
really good.
Soaked it up. Just allow PSG to do their thing. Stood firm and then hit clinically. Now Doué at the other end. Ball inside the penalty area is deflected and then headed away by Cash. Comes back outside the penalty area for Kvaratskhelia. Gets towards the byline. Low ball in from him. Stabbed away by Tielemans. Brought clear by Kamara. Down towards the goal scorer Rogers. Rogers turning his man and he's then fouled by Nuno Mendes. And it's going to be an Aston Villa free kick.
Yeah, really, really good. Excellent work from Morgan Rogers again there, taking good care. But that has certainly stunned everybody in the Parc des Princes. All the ultras and everybody that were kicking out a serious amount of noise. All of a sudden, it's quietened them down absolutely perfectly.
The goal with their first shot on target of the night, only their second shot of the night. The follow-up from the spiralling miscue from John McGinn. But what an impact he had in setting up Rogers to give Aston Villa the lead. Now he's got it again here. McGinn back towards Cash on the overlap and he's fluffed his lines. He's just driven a ball for the byline straight behind the goal.
Great position there, Cash. Made a nice little overlap. They created the 2-on-1, he and John McGinn. He had all the time in the world. He just rushed it and panicked and chipped it straight behind the goal for a goal kick.
Morgan Rogers giving Villa the lead. Half-time at Oxford. Ian Abrahams.
Oxford 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Ronnie Edwards' header from a corner, and Sam Field from close range at either end of the half have QPR ahead here. Oxford 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2.
You're listening to PSG against Aston Villa in the Champions League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has all the vehicles your business needs with the flexibility to rent for minutes or months. Here PSG coming again. Oh, Martinez! Has he kept that out? I think he has. Just. Doué with a shot that went through his hands, but it flicked off the inside of the post. And PSG then win a corner as Villa scramble it clear.
Just looked like for a moment it had gone out of Emi Martinez's hands.
Corner taken short. Vitinha, Nuno Mendes. Down to the corner of the penalty area again for Doué. Oh, brilliant. 1-1. A stunning effort from one of the best teenagers in world football. And Aston Villa's lead has lasted only 4 minutes. Corner taken short, came to Doué on the edge of the penalty area. He took a touch to his right, got the ball out from underneath his feet, and he curves one off the underside of the bar into the top right-hand corner. Moments after he very nearly embarrassed Martinez, he beats him from distance, and it's 1-1.
That's some goal. That is some goal to Desiree Doué's credit. Do you know what? In the end, it went in like Declan Rice's second free kick last night. It was that sort of shape where it goes right beyond the goalkeeper. Can't do anything about it, Emi Martinez, at all. Curls beyond him, top corner, side netting on the far side. It's a brilliant strike. It really is. Emi Martinez looks to the skies because he knows that one he fumbled a few moments before. He's ended up having to palm that out. They conceded possession. Villa never recovered. And Doué has got Paris right back in the game. Some goal.
12th of the season for Desiree Doué. French international who only made his debut for his country last month. And the former Rennes man's third Champions League goal. It's his 5th in 4 games in all competitions for PSG. Back on level terms. Rogers on 35 for the Villa. Doué on 39 for PSG. And Emi Martinez is a man that divides opinion. If he's on your side, you absolutely love and adore him. But if he's not, he is one that can get the hackles to rise. He's certainly done that with PSG supporters as Villa bring it forward here. Challenge on Tielemans on the edge of the penalty area. Might have been outside the box. Tielemans back on his feet very quickly. And the referee says play on. PSG then hit a long diagonal down towards Kvaratskhelia.
Great ball, great switch from Doué again.
And brilliant control. Kvaratskhelia bringing it back in field. Cash has been able to stop him, and Villa will be able to bring it away with Rogers. But that's the thing with Emi Martinez. Hoist by his own petard to a certain extent, and making the error that has got them back in the game. Here's Rashford bringing it forward towards the edge of the 6-yard box. He's pulled it back just away from McGinn. Not enough to find Ramsey. And Hakimi's going to be able to bring it away for the Parisians. Some game now, Andy.
Yeah, it's really opening up, Jim. Good break that from Villa. Morgan Rogers down the right side. 40-yard switch to Marcus Rashford, who did really well against Beraldo. Picked the ball up about 40 or 45 yards from goal in a wide position. Teased him, got at him, drove at him in the box, got right to the byline. Just couldn't find the white shirt with the cutback, but excellent play.
PSG haven't won a Champions League quarter-final leg here in 4 attempts. Last time they did, it was against Chelsea back in 2014, and they went out on away goals. They've lost the home leg of the last 2 Champions League quarters, but gone through both times. So it's next week that's going to really, truly be defining. Villa hoping that they are going to be able to take something back to protect at Villa Park next week, even if that is parity. Kvaratskhelia in possession for PSG. Just hands up from him against Cash for a moment there after the ball had gone. Cash is the one player who's been booked tonight, so he doesn't want to get involved in any shenanigans off the ball. An opportunity for PSG to bring it forward again. Dembele hooked back towards the edge of the penalty area. Space again for Doué. Gets it onto his left foot this time. Works it back for Kvaratskhelia, whose shot is deflected away on the edge of the penalty area, comes back down to him, and he elects not to play it, lets it roll over the dead ball line for another corner, like the previous 4, taken quickly and short. Doué, looking for a repeat. Martinez has beaten that one high up in the air. Dembele trying to turn. Opportunity to get a shot in for the edge of the penalty area. Fired over.
Yeah.
All PSG now.
It's all PSG. It was Doué again. He's been tremendous. He really has in this last 15 minutes. He's been roaming and floating or anywhere across the front line, Doué. In behind Dembele. He's done it brilliantly as well, whether he's off the right, off the left side, as he was when he scored his goal. But he's been the catalyst, really, for Paris to really kick on since Villa took the lead.
12 shots to 2 in PSG's favour. Well, we're approaching half-time with the score still level, 1-1. And the score has been level for all but 4 minutes. Morgan Rogers giving Villa a famous but short-lived lead. Desiree Doué, the best player on the pitch tonight, with the equalising goal 4 minutes later. There's a throw that Nuno Mendes, who got the assist for the Parisians' goal, will take into the feet of Fabian Ruiz, who then ducks out of the way as he's played the ball back to Mendes. His crossfield ball came close to Fabian Ruiz's head. It works out towards the right-hand side, and Doué will travel forward again. And coming in off the right flank, Doué making his way into the centre. Dembele trying to fire the ball in. Cleared out as far as Vitinha to Dembele. Back for Vitinha, 10 yards outside the box. Hakimi just ahead of him. Quick feet from Vitinha. Gets it back from Hakimi until a good challenge comes in from Pau Torres to clear. Villa looking to win the seconds on halfway. Can't do that. And then when it's played forward to give Rashford something to chase, he immediately knew he'd got no chance of getting there.
Yeah, got to make sure, Villa, now. They try and keep it a little better than they have over the last couple of minutes. But consider pressure now from PSG. They're really pushing hard.
Fabian Ruiz, Hakimi's going to be able to keep that in down by the dead ball line. He's pulled it back, right-hand side of the box. 2 minutes of added time and we're in them. Villa again smuggle it away with McGinn on the edge of the penalty area. Rashford's done well to hold it up. Kamara couldn't get there. Do a brilliant turn. Still he goes. Kamara's tried to foul him and couldn't. He's opened it up for a right-footed shot and that was blocked. Man, he's a superstar. He is tremendous. Villa will bring it away though. 3 against 3. And they work it out towards Marcus Rashford over on the left-hand side. Boos and whistles for Villa, having possession in and around the edge of the PSG final third. Kamara, who has won here in his Marseille days. Out of the left-hand side of the midfield for Aston Villa with Luca Digne. Rashford again. Slows the ball down. It's actually at a standstill by the time he nudges it away from Doué. You can see from here how heavily he's breathing, but what a magnificent turn that was. McGinn firing the ball towards the edge of the box. Hakimi heads that away. Hooked further clear up the right flank by Doué. Only for Villa to be able to bring it back. Ramsey to Rashford to Digne. About 40 seconds left in this first half here on Talksport, where it's 1-1. Jim Proudfoot and Andy Townsend talking through the action from the Parc des Princes. Villa just making sure that they maintain possession through to the half-time whistle here. Consa now will work it forward. Cash is going to be able to take control and venture down the right flank. Back from him to Kamara. Kamara to Cash. Cash looks as though he's blocked off, but actually was offside. Well, as the ball was played into him. Be a free kick to PSG. There won't be any time to take it, and that's half-time. Well, Villa laboured for 20-25 minutes or so, but they soaked up the pressure. They scored first through Morgan Rogers after great work from McGinn on the counter-attack before an exquisite equalising goal from Desiree Doué, who has stood out a mile. Half-time in the first leg. It's PSG 1, Villa 1.
Well, some of those Villa players need to just take a little breather because the likes of Doué, Kvaratskhelia have absolutely tormented them at times in that first half. But what a scoreline. Let's focus on that. PSG 1, Aston Villa 1. If they could take that back to the Midlands next week, Aston Villa fans will be very, very happy. And Andy Townsend, we need to talk about that first goal because I thought it was sensational. You're right to highlight John McGinn because he was having none of it. He was looking in that midfield and he was saying, I'm not having PSG dominate me. I'm going to win the ball in my own half, charge forward and help create a goal. It's exactly what he did.
He certainly did, You're absolutely right. I think, again, the tactic in the main is when PSG have got good possession, everyone gets back behind the ball. Don't put yourself out of the game. Don't dive in trying to pinch it and all of a sudden leave yourself exposed. But on that occasion, John McGinn recognised he might be able to pinch it. He might be able to get it. He did exactly that. He got his foot in, pinched the ball, cruised over the halfway line, quick switch of play, lovely ball to put Yuri Tielemans in, and a classy ball across the 6-yard line for Morgan Rogers to finish. So, and again, it's about those moments, This Champions League over the years, how many times we said about the big moments when they come your way. Villa got one, created one, and took it. And yes, they've been on the back foot. Yes, they've had to defend at times. They've really had to dig deep defensively. But I think they've done it quite well and managed the game in the main pretty good. Although, Desiree Doué, what a player this boy is.
He's sensational. Morgan Rogers, by the way, with the finish, and he's in double figures for goals and assists this season, the young Englishman, the young England international, 22 years old. Doué's even younger. Didier Deschamps is here tonight. He's seeing, well, I should be giving this kid more caps. He's only got one. He is unreal. Me and Kev Hatchard were talking about him before the game. Sensational winner he scored to seal the title of the weekend for PSG. That goal, I would say Morgan Rogers should do better defending against him. He lets him run inside, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But Martinez has got to at least give it a go, hasn't he?
I just think the shot is so good. It's so accurate. It's like that Declan Rice one last night. When you think of Thibaut Courtois, the size of him, you think he'd get to some of those. But it was so brilliant, Declan Rice's strike. Well, both of them actually, but the second one couldn't get near it. That was the same shape as Desiree Doué's shot tonight. That really hard hit, curling outside the post, then coming back into the side netting, right in the top bin, right in that top corner. Stunning goal, but he's been a real threat. They've looked very sharp at times, PSG, really sharp. But again, like a lot of teams in Champions League football, they do give you a moment, they do give you a chance. Villa have got to recognise when that opportunity is there and keep pushing and going for more.
It could be a tough second half for Aston Villa based on what we've seen.
Yep.
And also, Matty Cash was booked after 16 minutes. Kvaratskhelia was running rings around him. And I remember you said in the middle of the half that Morgan Rogers has been quiet. That was before the goal, obviously. Tielemans hasn't done much as well. They were both basically helping Cash out at right back because he was in that much trouble. He was being pressurised that much. He can't afford to get a second yellow. So I think the PSG will focus on that second half.
I think so. But I think, as we got closer to half-time, Villa had a little better care of the ball, a little better possession of the ball.
Yep.
And not for lengthy spells, but just enough, I think. And what they've done is, with the goal in particular, they've just reminded PSG a little bit that they're not going to necessarily have all this their own way. We've seen this before with Paris here. You know, look, against Liverpool, incredible performance, but with all those chances, yes, we know Alisson was unreal, but they couldn't find a way. What Villa have got to make sure is that they defend and they defend and they defend so solidly and so collectively, but when they get the chance to hit them, when they get the chance to hurt, there's got to be a punch on the end of it. There really has.
What a great first half here in the Parc des Princes, live on Talksport. The action on the pitch, matching the atmosphere off the pitch inside this stadium. It's one apiece here. What about the other quarter-final first leg tonight? Here's Kev Hatchard.
Barcelona 1, Dortmund 0. Barca dominated the opening exchanges with 17-year-old Lamine Yamal typically dangerous. It was no surprise when the hosts took a 25th minute lead. A free kick headed back across goal. Team defender Pau Cubarsí touched the ball towards the bottom corner, and the Champions League's top scorer Rafinha applied the finishing touch on the goal line for his 12th goal of the tournament. But then Dortmund's top scorer Serhou Guirassy had two big chances. He scuffed a volley straight at Wojciech Szczesny after great work from on-loan Chelsea midfielder Carney Chukwuemeka, and later he fired into the side netting from a promising position. Great game, but it is at half-time. Barca 1, Dortmund 0.
And in the Championship, Oxford 0, QPR 2 into the second half. Also, second half in South Wales, Swansea 3, Bottom Club Plymouth 0. And live on Talksport 2, it's half-time. Coventry 0, Portsmouth 0. Here in Paris, PSG 1, Aston Villa 1. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
The new Silvertown Tunnel is now open for faster cross-river journeys by road. Charges apply each way through both the Silvertown and Blackwall tunnels. Discounts are available for those on certain low-income benefits. Lower off-peak charges are also available when registered with AutoPay. Register now. Search TfL AutoPay. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters. Faster during peak times based on modelled data. Peak time charging periods vary.
To flutter, punters know it's the only place to go. Football, GG, cricket, golf and Grand Prix are live online casino. Just tap to find it on the app. Talksport Bet, the broadcast bonus bookie, keeping you on track with all the sporting stats. Steeple chases, even title races, looking after sports fans. You know, cause Talksport Bet is the app that does all that. It's the only place to go.
18 plus begambleaware.org. At Lidl this week, get a Parkside robot lawnmower for only £199. Just click, reserve and collect with Lidl Plus. Reservation until the 13th of April.
Now that's big on quality and always Lidl on price.
Items must be collected and purchased in store between 16th of April and 19th of April 25. 18 plus GB only. T's and C's apply. See lidl.co.uk/reserve.
Hey, Harry. Hello, mate. Got any tips for the football? Your best bet is to head over to Bet Victor. They're giving new customers a terrific welcome offer. If you bet a minimum of £10, they'll give you £30 in free bets.
Fool, that's a steal of a deal.
It's a good darn deal that'll make you squeal for real. Neil?
My name's not Neil.
I know, but it rhymes.
Listen to Harry and make your best bet on the football at Bet Victor. 18 plus, opt in and bet on any football marketing at odds of evens or greater. No cash out, 7-day expiry. Terms and conditions apply. Gambleaware.org.
Footballing legends are set to clash at AO Arena in the English Masters Football Tournament. Some of the Northwest's greatest football legends are coming together on Friday the 5th of September. United Masters, City Masters, Liverpool Masters, Everton Masters. See some of your all-time favourite players reignite classic football rivalries. Don't miss English Masters 2025 in Manchester. Tickets on sale now from ao-arena.com. Feel the action.
Golf's major season is here.
How about this?
As Augusta roars once more for the Masters.
Truly extraordinary day.
Sky Sports brings you 4 days of golfing perfection.
The greatest shot of his life.
Can Scheffler secure his 3rd green jacket?
Augusta goes and Scotty answers.
Will McIlroy complete his career Grand Slam? Watch it all unfold exclusively live on Sky Sports. Available with no contract on now. Terms and conditions apply.
Whatever kind of football fan you are, Talksport and the Coral Daily Download are here for it to celebrate the fans every day. Whether you're a front row seater or a prawn sandwich eater, a half-and-half scarf wearer or a lifelong faithful torchbearer, a retro shirt for every game or bare-chested, even in the rain. For all the latest news, reaction and odds this season, don't miss the Coral Daily Download. Every morning from 6 on Talksport with Coral. We're here for the fans. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whether you're on holiday, at home or away this summer, Enterprise has locations all over Europe and a vehicle that's just right for you.
The passion, the pain, and the poetry of the beautiful game.
Overhead kick! Brilliant goal!
The Champions League live on Talksport.
And Champions League live on Talksport from the Parc des Princes half-time. Here it is, PSG 1, Aston Villa 1. Lyon against Man United tomorrow night live on Talksport in the Europa League. Spurs against the 2022 Europa League winners, Eintracht Frankfurt, on Talksport 2 at the same time. And before that, Chelsea away to Legia Warsaw at 5:45 on Talksport 2 in the Europa Conference League. But let's focus on the Champions League tonight. Arsenal 3-0 winners against Real Madrid last night, and this evening Villa all square here in Paris. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Well, against the run of play, Villa took the lead, but it's PSG 1, Aston Villa 1 at half-time. PSG are 13-8 on to win the match. Villa are 6-1 The draw is 21-10. Over on Talksport 2, half-time commentary nil, Portsmouth nil in the Championship. Coventry 11-10, Portsmouth 17-5. The draw 8-5. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes 18+. BigGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. GambleAware.org.
And let's stay in the Championship. Coventry nil, Portsmouth nil at half-time. The second half on Talksport 2. You can get Talksport 2 by telling your smart speaker to play it, or download the Talksport app and you can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2. Also on there, you get Times Radio, keep you up to date with everything Donald Trump's doing in America. And you can get all the Virgin music stations as well, including the latest one, Virgin Britpop. Let's head to the Kassam in the Championship. What's happening there in the second half? Talksport, Ian Abrams.
9 minutes gone, still Oxford 0, QPR 2. Ronnie Edwards, Ollie Romney, own goal has gone down as rather than Sam Field for QPR's second, and they've already had 2 quick corners in this second half and a deflected shot by Powell as well, just wide. They're dominating really here. Queen's Park Rangers a win, and you have to say they're probably safe. 9 minutes of the second half gone, Oxford 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2.
Yeah, it was a 6-pointer. Oxford to go above QPR with the win, but they're 2 down in the second half. And also in the second half, round about the hour mark, they're a bit further on than at the Kassam. Swansea lead Plymouth 3-0. It's looking bad for Plymouth, bottom of the table. Lewis O'Brien, Harry Darling and Josh Key with the goals all in the first half. Champions League then, Barcelona 1, Dortmund 0. And here, PSG 1, Aston Villa 1. The stats tell a little bit of a different story. 73.5% possession to Paris Saint-Germain. Their XG is double that of Aston Villa, 0.65. They've had 15 efforts on goal, 6 of them on target, 2 shots from Villa, 1 on target. And that really, Andy Townsend, is the pattern of that first half. It was all PSG, but the vital thing, as you pointed out, get the ball in the back of the net. They didn't do it against Liverpool. PSG haven't been doing it tonight.
No, they create so many great situations, don't they? They really do. I love the way their midfield interact and the way they play and the way they prompt and feed the rest of the team, whether it be from 40 yards out or on the halfway line. They're very, very good at controlling the beat and the tempo of a game. They did that. They got into their stride very quickly. Dembele was a threat early on. Hakimi as well down the right-hand side. Kvaratskhelia early on, as you mentioned, on Matty Cash was giving him a lot of problems, but then Doué started to pick the game up as an individual himself. Scored a wonderful goal, a beautiful goal, and he's been the one really for the last 15 or 20 minutes that has actually drove Paris forward. So Villa got to make sure, again, they start this second period really well. If they do concede, it's how you react. Last night when Real Madrid conceded the first goal, they didn't react, they went under.
Heads went down.
They went down and they went under. Even the great Real Madrid. What Villa mustn't do, if Paris get that second goal, the roof's going to come off this place. You've got to hang in there, you've got to stay with it and make sure 2 don't become 3.
And at the other end, listen, there's room for optimism if they can get forward. They've got to get forward in numbers to support Marcus Rashford. And also Donnarumma's a weak link. We saw him flap at a cross. How good was it from an England fan's point of view? I'm talking about myself here. Morgan Rogers, an England international, scoring against Donnarumma after what he did in the shootout in the Euro final a few years ago was very, very sweet. He was also at fault for the Atletico Madrid winner here in the league stage in the Champions League. A ball went right through his right hand. So there's a weak link there. I know he looks the part, he's massive, people love him, but I think he's a weak link.
Look, I'm with you a little bit. I think that he is prone and he is susceptible to perhaps making unforced errors. And you've got to keep working him, you've got to keep testing him. Again, Villa I expect more of the same second half. I expect Villa on the back foot, but being able to handle that and being comfortable being on the back foot. There's a difference between scrambling and dashing around all over the place and getting pulled apart, as opposed to getting back behind the ball, keeping that shape, and make sure you squeeze the ball in front of you and send them backwards. I think if Villa do that, they will always have those moments when they can get it forward and give Paris something to think about.
Well, throughout the half-time interval here, the red and blue flags have been flying up in the stands here. The PSG fans getting behind their team as they come out for the second half. They were very much on top in terms of possession and chances and attacking threats and balls in the opposition danger areas. But in terms of the scoreline, it is all square. Both teams are back out. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Aston Villa 1. second half here in Paris, live on Talksport with former Villa captain Andy Townsend and your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
And Villa are making a change at half-time. Matty Cash off, and Axel Disasi is on. Disasi playing against his hometown club. He's got a really good record against them in his career. He's won 6 out of 10 matches that he's played against PSG. Not many have done that. But he is on here at half-time to replace Cash, who's on a yellow card.
Yeah, on a yellow card. And again, I think it struggled a little bit, to be honest, Matty Cash. And again, up against a very, very talented and gifted individual in Kvaratskhelia. So Axel Disasi now on in that right-back position. Got to get up to speed quickly.
So we're back underway. And PSG in their predominantly dark blue kit with the red central stripe down the front, kicking from left to right. Villa in their change kit of all white. And an early touch for Vitinha in the second half. He had plenty of them in the first. This is how PSG line up. Donnarumma in goal. Hakimi, Beraldo, Pacho and Nuno Mendes. João Neves, Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz. Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. Villa with Martinez in goal. Now Disasi, Concert, Pau Torres and Digne. Tielemans and Kamara. Rodgers, McGinn and Ramsey. And Rashford. Villa trying to win the ball back in the midfield. Ramsey's done exactly that, and they can break quickly. 4 against 2. It was a terrible pass that was played for by Tielemans, and the move breaks down as quickly as it started.
He's tried to find Marcus Rashford through the eye of a needle. If he'd have gone right to Morgan Rodgers, I think that was a better option.
So PSG will be able to bring the ball forward themselves. So Dembele laying it back through the midfield. Nuno Mendes now coming in. Kvaratskhelia. Shot comes in from Dembele, which was blocked by the turning Konsa. Hakimi to Vitinha. And now Hakimi again to his right-hand side. Here's Desiree Doué. Ball stops. Was stopped for a good 3-4 seconds or so. And then it's played back towards Pacho. Pacho to Vitinha. Vitinha in a central area into the feet of Fabian Ruiz. Vitinha coming forward again. Every Villa player is back behind the ball, and Rashford, the most advanced of them, is only 15 yards outside his own penalty area. The Villa with plenty of defending to do, as they had for the vast majority of the first half. Fabian Ruiz has got it for PSG, bringing it forward away from McGinn. He's inside the penalty area, laid out to the left. Kvaratskhelia, good turn from him, and another pull back. Dembele on the edge of the penalty area, but Villa defending so mob-handedly that they had enough bodies back to be able to get in the line of fire. Nuno Mendes. As PSG will come again, cleverly flicked round the corner for Fabian Ruiz. Mendes taking it on, and Concert leaves it after a heavy touch from the PSG left back. The booze will tell you that Martinez has come out and been able to pick it up. Second goal in Barcelona. Here's Kevin Hatchard.
Yeah, it's Barcelona 2, Dortmund 0. A 48th minute goal from Robert Lewandowski against his former club. The ball hung up to the far post, headed back across goal by Rafinha, touched in from close range by the head of Lewandowski. Barcelona 2, Dortmund 0.
39th goal of the season for Robert Lewandowski. Good job he's getting old. Villa will be able to bring the ball forward down the left-hand side with Jacob Ramsey. Back in field. Hakimi is there. Knocked away by him from Tielemans. And then Hakimi's ball back. Fabian Ruiz just had to wait, but he can throw a left foot at it to turn it out towards Kvaratskhelia. Disasi's backing off. Kvaratskhelia has beaten him easily and fires it brilliantly past Martinez. It's another stunning goal from PSG. Villa backed off and backed off. Disasi turned one way and then the other, and then was beaten. And Kvaratskhelia just opened up the angle and whacked it past Martinez. And in a match in which Villa led, they now trail 2-1.
It's some goal again. Brilliant finish from Kvaratskhelia. Wonderful, wonderful individual goal. Villa lost the ball probably 40 yards from Paris's goal. And from there they broke really quickly. Once the ball went out to Kvaratskhelia, he had only one thing on his mind, running hard at Axel Disasi, who backed off and backed off and backed off. As soon as you see the white line under your feet, you've got to stop. You've got to then go with the ball. You've got to front him up. You can't keep going backwards and backwards and backwards, because eventually he's going to be within shooting distance That's exactly what happened, and he roofed it past Emi Martinez. It's a brilliant goal. It's a stunning strike, but I think Disasi's got to recognise you can only drop back for so long before you have to go and front that ball up.
He's only been on the field 3.5 minutes and culpable in part for the goal that PSG have scored that puts them ahead. Kvaratskhelia with his 4th for the club since his move from Napoli. It's his 9th goal of the season all told. And the Parc des Princes has found its voice again as PSG lead Villa by 2-1 in this Champions League quarter-final first leg. Unbeaten at home here in the league. They have lost to both Atletico Madrid and Liverpool in this competition, but they lead this one. Vitinha inside the centre circle with Talksport. There's only 14 minutes worth of play ago that Aston Villa led, but now they're 2-1 down. Could be worse. But Pau Torres has actually remedied the situation as Doué came across. Square ball by Villa across the edge of their own penalty area. And Villa have got to make sure they don't let their heads drop and implode here.
Really important, Jim. Really important. I think Fabian Ruiz looked offside there, but no flag.
And he's still got it. Kamara is with him every step of the way. Tries to pull the ball back, and just as Kvaratskhelia was trying to get on the edge of the pullback from Doué, was knocked away. Back out of the edge of the box, Vitinha chipping it in. Dembele chasing. Digne's there. Ramsey will be able to volley it away.
Yeah, good header from Luca Digne there. Under pressure, Dembele peeling off in behind him, but again, PSG really pushing hard now, looking for that third.
Hakimi. Villa have just got to hang in there. They're up against the ropes right now. Got to make sure it's not a glass jaw that they've got. Draw on all their strengths of reserves and character. Kvaratskhelia to Doué. Back from Beraldo. João Neves. Beraldo again. News of an Oxford goal comes in a moment as the ball is played by Vitinha out of the left-hand side for another opportunity for Nuno Mendes. Doué waiting patiently on the edge of the penalty area. The ball didn't get there. McGinn can knock it away, but Nuno Mendes will drive forward once more. She's shown a little bit too much of that to Disasi, and he can get it away. Every Villa touch almost causes problems for themselves as it bounces back through the midfield. Kamara then trying a cheeky, impudent little flick, and he's given it away. And here they come once more. Dembele dropped off on the edge of the box, didn't find him. Half cleared, but only half cleared. Tielemans on the turn, hammers it away. And now and only now will Villa be able to get the ball to the sanctuary in Morgan Rogers, who can bring it clear and try and attack the halfway line, but he doesn't get very far.
No, can't get out at the moment, Villa. The pressure is so intense coming from PSG. Whenever they pick the ball up, whenever they turn the ball over, Aston Villa, I'm afraid there's a red and blue shirt fronting them up immediately and nicking it back. But again, listen, you have to go through spells like this in matches. Don't go on your own, sit tight, bank up, stay solid, make sure you all do it together. But you just got to weather it. You've got to just see it out for a little bit. They're going to come at you. They're coming at you really hard. See it out.
João Neves has got possession, and he finds Beraldo. Beraldo to his right-hand side for Hakimi. And Hakimi will lay it back towards halfway for Beraldo again. So let's get news of that Oxford goal from Ian Abrahams.
Oxford 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Stan Mills forced into action because of an injury, instantly scoring. Dembele's ball into the box, and Danny Mills' boy headed into the corner. Oxford 1, QPR 2.
Got a very good home record, Oxford. They won 6 of the last 9 at the Kassam. Can they turn that one around tonight? 2-1 down at home to QPR. Coventry Portsmouth is live for you right now over on Talksport 2. Only opening minutes of the second half there, and it's still 0-0. Swansea 3, Plymouth 0. And in the other Champions League tie tonight, Barcelona 2-up against Borussia Dortmund. Lewandowski scoring the second of those against his former club. This one, PSG 2, Villa 1. More live action for you tomorrow. Lyon against Manchester United. 8 o'clock here on Talksport, and a double bill on Talksport 2. Legia Warsaw Chelsea 5:45, Spurs Eintracht Frankfurt at 8. 3 more quarterfinals coming your way in Europe tomorrow on the Talksport network. Achraf Hakimi turning in off the right flank, showed too much of that to Tielemans, and Villa, as soon as they win it back, seemingly invariably are losing it again within a couple of seconds or so. The counter-press from PSG, impressive enough, and Villa's poise in possession has been disappointing. Straight ball forward here, read by Disasi. Villa get it away. McGinn, Tielemans, Rodgers.
Well played.
Good touch from Morgan Rodgers with his left boot. Ramsey now, down towards Marcus Rashford. Chance for Rashford to run at the edge of the penalty area. Got past a couple of challenges, but Doué came back and robbed him. And PSG are going to be able to bring it away.
Yeah, it's got to be better there, Marcus Rashford. That was a chance, an opportunity to make something of it. Conceded possession.
Dembele in a dangerous position, rolls it square across the edge of the area. Vital deflection from Disasi on the shot that came in from the edge of the box. And potentially, that's a goal-saving intervention.
Yeah. Emi Martinez is just waving his hands at his players. Come on, come on, come on. Switch on. We need to be doing a little better. We're just a little bit off it at the moment. We're allowing PSG a little too much room, which they're making full use of.
They're building up a mighty head of steam now. Luis Enrique's man. Corner will be taken on the Parisian right-hand side by Dembele, and it's come off the head of Pacho under pressure from Conson, gone over the bar onto the roof of the net and out of play for a goal kick. You're listening to PSG Aston Villa in the Champions League, and it's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Making a big move or planning a clear out with vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, they've got a van. Here at the Parc des Princes, we're 9 minutes into the second half, 2 on the PSG, and here's former Villa captain Andy Townsend.
Yeah, PSG started the second period really well. Scored an excellent goal, Kvaratskhelia. Little disappointed the fact that Villa lost the ball and they were cut open really, but the execution of the strike was wonderful. He's a very, very gifted and very talented boy, and he ran at Disasi. And look, they're full value for their lead, let's be honest. They have been the more prominent team in the game. But again, I think Villa now have to manage this game. See this tie out. If it finished 2-1, it is not insurmountable. It is not the end of the world. What they've got to make sure they do, yes, they want to push and they want to try and get back into it. It's just crucial, Jim, now they don't concede again.
Yuri Tielemans will take a free kick from the edge of the centre circle, pumped forward towards the edge of the PSG penalty area, a little bit deeper than that actually. Disasi went up for it, won it, it's cleared out towards the right hand side, good ball in, and Pau Torres attacked it, but he got a little bit large on him, a little bit too quickly, and it's come off the top of his head and gone to relative safety. Villa will be able to recycle it with Digne finding Tielemans. Ball chipped inside the penalty area, but not over the head of Nuno Mendes. And then Kvaratskhelia, what a touch. Taken away from McGinn. Counter-attack is on Martinez. Backpedaling really quickly. Doué's got it. Edge of the box. We know that means danger. Step over from Ruiz. Hakimi.
What a
good
save
that keeps Villa in the tie. Martinez dived to his right. Got a strong right hand to it to deny PSG another picture book goal.
Oh, what a save. Great stop, Emi Martinez, but devastating, breathtaking stuff from PSG on the counter-attack. Doué again, the architect. Eventually Hakimi had the strike. It's a super stop.
Oh, he's got it again. Doué, quick feet. Past a couple of Villa players. A shot that hit Concert. And Martinez comes out and picks up the rebound on the edge of the penalty area. Rolls it forward quickly to find Ramsey. I wonder whether he's going to be the man coming off as we see Marco Asensio getting ready for action. And indeed, that is the change that is being made. Ramsey off, Asensio on against his parent club.
Yeah, he's worked really hard, Jacob Ramsey. I think that's the right call. Marco Asensio will slot in that number 10 position. It looks like John McGinn will come and play just to the left, I think, of Yuri Tielemans. So can Marco Asensio get in and around Vitinha, just in off the back of him, and maybe just try and get on the half turn, pick the ball up. Very good at that.
Well, he made 4 appearances in the Champions League earlier this season for PSG. Asensio didn't score, but he's got 8 goals in 5 starts and 6 sub-appearances for Villa. 8 in 8. Or 8 in his last 8 coming into this one. A few boos and whistles for him as he comes on against his parent club, and he's got possession now towards the edge of the box. He's a former Champions League winner, you'll remember, from his Real Madrid days. We can't do anything here. PSG winning it back will work it quickly with Fabian Ruiz for Kvaratskhelia. Disasi backing off again. Ball inside the penalty area. Blocked by Konsa. Cleared by Kamara. And then Rogers well beaten by Nuno Mendes, who just stood firm at 50-50 and wins it back. And now PSG have it. Doué, so elegant in possession. He's having the night of his life. Torres. Villa actually have got it away from Doué, who had 50% more touches in the first half than Rashford and Ramsey put together.
Yeah,
for Villa.
He's been really good, Jim. Very, very good. He's confident as well. He's enjoying himself out there. Great challenge, Hakimi.
Won it back from McGinn. Doué has it. Edge of the penalty area. Dembele trying to commit Digne. And Tielemans is going to be able to clear. Getting it forward towards Rashford, who hit it briskly at McGinn. It was a difficult one for him to field. He then, as a result of that, can't find Asensio. And PSG can bring it forward again. They lead 2-1. Villa will be mighty grateful it is only 2-1. Nuno Mendes. Handball shout against the retreating Kamara. Referee says no penalty. Will be looked at by the VAR Marco Di Bello. Nuno Mendes getting to the byline, checking and then delivering a left-footed cross. Kamara on the slide. What did it hit?
Hit his hand.
It hit his hand,
but his hand is in that position, Jim. He's sliding. Now, they usually factor that in. The fact that his arm is planted on the ground because he's gone to ground.
Well, in the Premier League, that certainly would never be given on the basis that he's put his left hand down there to break his fall.
Correct.
And it's not going to be given here either. It will be play restarting with a corner. The ball clearly hit his hand, and we think that's the right decision. Corner to be taken on the PSG left. So they look to make it 3-1. Swung in with whip towards the near post. And a little flick header is caught by Martinez.
It's been a really strong 15 minutes, 16 minutes since the start of the second period from PSG. They've asked all sorts of questions of Villa, playing with genuine intensity, class, confidence. Crowd are up for it. Noise levels have gone through the roof as anticipated and expected. Villa have just got to try and wear it out and see it out and gradually get themselves back up the field and back into the game.
Ball play towards Digne, and the former PSG man turns away from Doué. Rogers bringing it forward, and he saw the run of Asensio, but he hit the ball too hard for him. And it goes through the Donnarumma.
Lucky. Right idea from Morgan Rogers. Picked it up about 35 yards out on the half turn, and then Marco Asensio ran into the box. That little toe poke pass was just too heavy. Went straight through to Donnarumma.
22 shots to 3 in Paris Saint-Germain's favour. 8-1 on target in the host's favour, but only 2-1 in terms of the scoreline. And XG would have it that they're actually only just a little over half a goal better than Villa up to this point. They'll bring it forward again with Kvaratskhelia coming in off the left-hand side to find Fabian Ruiz. Those two have worked so well in tandem. João Neves had Vitinha ahead of him, but he's played it to his right instead. Hakimi, Doué, back towards Hakimi. Now work by Vitinha back inside the centre circle for Pacho. The Villa just backing off, keeping a watching brief at the moment. Very respectful of the Parisians when they've got possession. It's PSG kicking from left to right and leading 2-1 here on Talksport. Fabian Ruiz has got it again. Just lets the ball roll across him. Plays it out towards Kvaratskhelia with a white sweatband around his left wrist. From him to Vitinha. Vitinha just exchanging passes with João Neves to his left. It's a really patient build-up again here from PSG, but we've seen before that they can be slow. Quick, bang, goal.
Yeah, they can. It's exactly what they're doing. They're just knocking it around. Marcus Rashford, furthest forward Villa player, about 40 yards from his own goal. Everybody else packed in, and no one diving into challenge, no one coming out to press the ball. Just waiting for that ball that's played through, and then they're going to have to go squeeze and go tight and try and pinch it.
It's almost a 6-4-0 when PSG are in possession. Villa lining up to try and soak up the pressure. 2-1 to PSG here on Talksport, a match that Villa led for 4 minutes. Dembele. One of the PSG players, I think it was Nuno Mendes, went down actually in the corner of the penalty area. It was only a very isolated appeal from some of the PSG supporters that it should have been a penalty. The ball fired inside the box is cleared by Konsa, and then knocked away towards Pacho.
And when they clear it, Jim, they can't get out very far, Villa. Just cleared that one. They travelled about 5 yards before it's already coming back, and as soon as it starts to come back, you have to stop. You have to stop and hold and make sure that everybody's together.
Beraldo finds Vitinha. Vitinha out towards the PSG left-hand side for Nuno Mendes. And Nuno Mendes working it just back behind square through the midfield. Forward they come again. Kvaratskhelia. Digne thought about diving in to try and get ahead of Hakimi to win the ball back. I think he rightly judged he wasn't going to make it. So Hakimi still got it. Hakimi with the outside of the right boot works it back towards Pacho. Dozens of passes in this move now. PSG just working it cleverly, carefully, from left to right and frequently back again. Doué is coming away. Villa playing here and paying him so much respect. Rodgers, just right on his toes, won't make the challenge. Such is the fear of getting turned. Doué has it again now, facing up Axel Disasi. And he can't find a way past him. Disasi has stood his ground well and should be able to clear it at the right-hand touchline. Finds Rodgers. Rodgers immediately stumbling, loses possession, and they'll come again. It was Fabian Ruiz that won it back. Now Beraldo from distance. Martinez will make the save. Let's get news of another goal in Barcelona. Kevin Hadjar.
It is Barcelona 3, Dortmund 0. Robert Lewandowski showing no mercy to his old club. His second of the night. Barcelona's third after great work from Lamine Yamal and Fermin Lopez. A firm right-footed effort. Barca 3, Dortmund 0.
Now it's up to 40 for the season. It does look as though it's going to be Barcelona into Milan in one semi-final. Who's going to be in the other? It's Villa bring it forward, trailing here 2-1, but winning a free kick inside the centre circle.
Yeah, just saw Axel Disasi there bursting forward. Travelled 30-40 yards with the ball, then went for a square ball. It got cut out. You have to be so careful now, Villa, because just when they feel there might be a moment for them to attack, if they are careless in possession, I think PSG are right in the mood and right in the zone to add to the two they've got.
This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. PSG 2, Villa 1. Paris Saint-Germain have actually lost 4 of their last 8 Champions League ties here. Beaten by Barcelona in the quarter-finals last season, by Dortmund in the semis, Atletico and Liverpool this season. A time which Villa had the lead. For a glorious 4 minutes they were ahead in a Champions League quarter-final. Pegged back almost immediately. Now they trail. Villa up against it, but all the time it's 2-1. They feel that they've got a puncher's chance next week. They've got to make sure that they leave here with no worse a scoreline than this, you feel.
Totally agree.
PSG work it forward again. Doué. He's made a run from inside his own half. Villa keeping a really high back line. They couldn't quite get the quality of ball right. And then Disasi, terrible clearance. Passes straight to the nearest man in blue. Dembele towards the edge of the box. And knocked away by Tielemans, who's going to be able to then actually venture forward. And spirit a ball down the inside left channel for Marcus Rashford. Rashford running at Beraldo and blocked off by Hakimi. And he's gone down face first in the turf, but no foul, and PSG will be able to bring it forward. Getting it out towards Dembele. Dembele taking on Luca Digne towards the edge of the box. Dembele twisting one way, then the other, flicking it forward with his left boot.
Game becoming quite stretched now. Villa just started to look a little tired. Unai Emery's got to be careful of one or two. Got to make sure that the energy levels are right there all the way.
Hakimi, Fabian Ruiz, Nuno Mendes, Doué, back towards João Neves, stringing the passes together almost as quickly as you can say the names. Doué again, towards the corner of the box. Poor pass from him, collector's item tonight that, in behind Dembele, and clear. And now McGinn will try and bring it forward, finding Digne. And Digne goes back. Oh, it's a terrible ball. He's got away with it.
Wow.
Very nearly passed it to Dembele right on the edge of the penalty area.
He's got a habit of doing that, Luca Digne. When he gets the ball, he didn't even look forward, just wants to check back and chop back with it all the time.
McGinn fouled. PSG able to bring it away after the referee didn't give a free kick Villa's way. He does give a free kick Doué's way, rightly.
I think it's the time for Villa to make a couple of changes. I do. I think Marcus Rashford's had a couple of runs. They've been a little bit tame and a little bit timid, really, in terms of trying to make something happen at the top of the field. I think he might have run his race a little bit. I really do think that Unai Emery needs to get that extra energy back into the team.
Well, I guess a lot will depend on exactly how fit they think Ollie Watkins is. Hakimi, right-hand side of the penalty area! 3-1, but he's offside. Doesn't count. It's a massive let-off.
Oh, that is a let-off.
Martinez did not cover himself in glory there. But the cross-come shot from Hakimi that deflected off the inner thigh of Martinez and in behind him is ruled out for an offside.
We're going to have another look at it again. It's Kvaratskhelia. Oh, I tell you.
That's
tell you what, that's very close. This could count. This is really close. Kvaratskhelia it was who got the ball, knocked it in behind Luca Digne, where Hakimi was hovering. And he slammed it in the back of the net from a ridiculous angle. And it's a really close call. I'm just praying this one gets chalked off.
Yep, it has been. But that was close. Double change for PSG. They've taken Doué off, and Bradley Barcola is a fine man to be able to bring off the bench. He's another that's had a great season. Barcola, 18 goals, former Lyon man, and he'll come on, and Zaire Emery is on as well to replace Fabian Ruiz. This is the ovation for Doué as he comes down and is given a big coat to wear, protecting himself against a pretty cold spring night here in the French capital. He has been scintillating.
Yeah, electric at times. He and Kvaratskhelia have been the pick of the bunch. Those two have been wonderful to watch, really have.
Villa get the ball forward. Rashford coming to meet it. Went up for it with Ronaldo. And now Rodgers has got it. And a right-footed effort. Saved by Donnarumma on the edge of his 6-yard box. Just dived down and brought the ball in.
Just lacked a little bit of belief there, Morgan Rodgers. It's a little tame, the strike. It's great closing down from John McGinn.
Here's Barcola. Excellent 1-2. He's got it right down by the byline. And his ball is gathered by Martinez at the second attempt before Dembele could get in front of the Argentinian goalkeeper. Again, the boos and whistles tell you that Emi Martinez has got the ball in his hand. We've got about 15 minutes to go, a little bit more than that. PSG 2, Villa 1. Martinez bowls it out. Villa haven't conceded for the last 25 minutes. Are they going to be able to get through the 15 that remain? Digne rolls the ball forward down the left wing here for Marcus Rashford. Sensio waiting in the middle. Rashford waiting for Digne to make a run outside him. He's pulled it back then to Tielemans. Tielemans through the midfield. Vitinha chomping at the bit, trying to get it away from Kamara, who will continue his run forward, but can't get there. Pancho shepherds the ball back to his goalkeeper.
Unlucky. Did really well actually there, Kamara. He's back to goal initially, but somehow managed to get the possession back, and clever little scoop pass from Rodgers to him. He just couldn't quite get anything on the end of it.
Ian Matson's going to be coming on in a moment. Straight swap for Digne. We'll find out together the next break in play. As PSG bring it down towards Kvaratskhelia. Exchange of passes between him and Hakimi. Now the Georgian brings it in off the right flank. Quick little 1-2 with João Neves. Work back towards Pacho. We're also going to see Onana coming on into the heart of the Aston Villa midfield. And Watkins as well. So it's a triple change that Villa will be making in a moment. Barcola lays the ball back towards Vitinha. Out of the Parisian left. Vitinha can just make his way forward. Stops when he's about 8 yards outside the box.
just trying to tease Villa out at the moment. Villa's about 5 yards outside their own 18-yard line, 6 in a line, as you said, Jim. PSG just playing with the ball about 40 yards from goal, little 5-6 yard passes, just trying to drag the white shirts towards them and then find a bit of space.
Beraldo for Hakimi, Kvaratskhelia, the bearded Georgian just given a little shove in the back by Digne. Ball goes back for Pacho from Beraldo. Just about every PSG outfield player has had a part to play in this latest move. Barcola, João Neves, back to the directional play, 15 outside the penalty area. Kvaratskhelia is coming forward again, hits from distance, a right-footed effort that took a nick off Pau Torres, and in doing so, very nearly fell João Neves' way inside the penalty area. It's a corner.
Good strike from Kvaratskhelia. Yep, it was blocked by Pau Torres. Exactly right, Jim. It deflected then, almost into the path of those on-rushing blue shirts. João Neves nearly had a tap-in.
Latest PSG corner, and like all the others, it's worked short. Nuno Mendes back out for Kvaratskhelia by the corner of the box. Right-footed ball swung in off the top of Asensio's head. Should be Martinez's. Comes out and catches it. And now will hit it forward right-footed from the edge of his penalty area. Asensio trying to roll Vitinha. Managed that to an extent, but Hakimi was in behind him and able to sweep up, and PSG got it back.
Yeah.
2-1 here, but 4-0 now to Barcelona. Kevin Hadjar.
Yeah, Barcelona with 1 foot in the semi-finals. Lamine Yamal, the teen sensation, with his 4th Champions League goal of the season. A fine low finish into the far corner after Dortmund had given the ball away cheaply. 4-0.
14th of the season for Lamine Yamal. 4-0 they lead Dortmund. Last season's finalists. We've got to that final. Daniel Marlon and Ian Matson both featured, both now Villa players, and whilst Marlon's not on the European list, Matson is going to be coming on in a moment. 2-1 here to PSG. Would not be the end of the world for Villa. Kvaratskhelia, good run. Pau Torres went shoulder to shoulder with him. Pair of them fell over. And Pau Torres clearly felt that Kvaratskhelia dived.
Yeah.
There's an angry reaction.
He's looking for it there, Kvaratskhelia. He's never getting on the end of that pass. Pau Torres just lets him know. He gets his arm up, but no, he's not getting on the end of the ball.
Martinez driving the ball forward. With the bounce in front of Digne. Digne hooks it infield from the left-hand touchline. Rashford then tried a cushion layoff that fell behind the on-rushing McGinn. And Zaire Emery can bring it forward. The 18-year-old getting it wide. Barcola, I beg your pardon. And towards the edge of the penalty area, back for Zaire Emery again. Thought about a right-footed shot, thought better of it. Goes back for Vitinha. Barcola then makes another darting run, trying to draw Disasi out of position. Great turn by Barcola. Gets towards the byline, pulls it back. Tielemans mops up. Ball a hot potato inside that penalty area for the Villa players, and then Kamara has given it away inside his box. Barcola's got it again. Gets it back from the byline. Chips it in. Kvaratskhelia coming onto it. Heavy first touch denied him a shot. But they've still got possession with Vitinha. Chipped over the top for Hakimi. And it's knocked away by McGinn. Out for another corner. 2-1.
Good tracking there from John McGinn on Hakimi, who's pushing forward as ever. They're not in a rush to put it in the box, PSG, but when they do, you sense that if they're not being tracked, those runners, that they'll find a third. They're, again, perfectly content to settle for 2 here, but if Villa just drop their concentration levels, they'll get another.
Vitinha, and it's wide. And that will allow Aston Villa the opportunity to make this triple change. So we're going to see Onana come on, Watkins, and also Ian Matson. While Villa are making the changes, let's get news of another goal at Oxford. Ian Abrahams.
Oxford 1, Queen's Park Rangers 3. Off the bench, the Spurs loanee Yang Min Hook. Ball played to him on the left of the penalty area, and a nice finish beyond the goalkeeper, kissing the post as it went in. Surely we'll see QPR win and stay up this season. Oxford 1, QPR 3.
Yeah, that result will take them up to 15th. They'll be 7 points clear of the bottom 3. Oxford, on the other hand, only 3 points clear of the bottom three. So McGinn's come off, Anana's come on to replace him, and that's necessitated a change of the captain's armband, which has taken a few more seconds as well.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford off, Ollie Watkins up the middle there with Morgan Rogers now. Asensio just in behind those two. Maatsen in front of Luca Digne. And Camara and Onana now to see this game out.
Villa with Ezri Konsa. Thought he'd lost possession. Dembele has disparagingly waved Konsa back to his feet. He was given the free kick. Still 2-1, 10 minutes to go. They would bite your hand off for a 2-1 defeat here and now, Aston Villa. Pau Torres playing the ball forward. First touch, a good one from Ian Maatsen. Lays the ball back towards Digne. Digne for Onana, who's had his injury problems. Amadou Onana has scored a Champions League goal for Villa. Going against Young Boys Bern back on match day 1. Little do we know then what a ride Aston Villa would give us in this competition. Pau Torres, former semi-finalist in the Champions League, finding Digne. Digne towards the edge of the penalty area. PSG forced to backtrack a moment. Onana. Maatsen to his left. Pau Torres behind him. He's gone back to the Spaniard. Back from him to Konsa. Konsa to Kamara. Out towards Disasi. Parisian controlling the ball and laying it back against his hometown club, and Onana's going to be able to bring it forward. It's done really well. Good strength from him. Gets to the edge of the area. Left-footed shot is wide. Just running onto it, Asensio. He's won a corner, which is Aston Villa's first of the night. Left-footed shot that just took a little nick on its way through.
That's really nice football, that, from Villa. Taking the corner short, Jim.
Well, they've worked it back. Left-footed ball in from Digne. Heads go up for it, nodded down by Disasi across the edge of the 6-yard box, but cleared. Out for Martinez, who's inside the centre circle when he drives it forward right-footed. Digne got the header all wrong, and that will go past Watkins and straight out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah. Unlucky, actually, moments ago. Nice passage of play. Lovely run from Amadou Onana. Burst forward. And just about 20 yards out. He just touched it to his left into the path of Marco Asensio on the left foot. His shot just took a slight deflection out for that corner.
Swansea beat Plymouth by 3-0. And Argyle 5 points adrift of safety with 5 games to go in the Championship. They're still playing at Oxford, 3-1 to QPR. Still playing over on Talksport 2 as well. Coventry against Portsmouth is goalless inside the final 10 minutes. And that result will prevent Coventry going back into the playoff positions. This one is 2-1 to PSG. Kvaratskhelia has got possession. He's played it back inside his own half for Hakimi. Hakimi to Beraldo. Past Pacho. And forward towards João Neves. Barcola making a run down the left-hand side. Nuno Mendes couldn't feather it into his path. Disasi struggles to get it away. PSG picking up so much second ball. Nuno Mendes trying to take on the retreating Rodgers. Now, did he have his hand on his shoulder as he made his way inside the penalty area?
It was all outside the box, Jim. All the contact initially was outside the box. Nuno Mendes did well, actually, to continue that, and eventually goes down when he gets in the box. Why wouldn't he? But referee having nothing of it.
Kvaratskhelia tried to turn. Onana brilliantly intercepted back by Vitinha, who threw his chin into the line of fire.
Which chin was it,
knock
Jim?
the ball away. You know, he's got a few less than I've got. Cool, you're criticising him. Hate to think what you say about me. It's Vitinha down towards Kvaratskhelia. A couple of yards in off the right-hand touchline. 7 to go. Now Villa are trailing 2-1. Beraldo. And out towards João Neves, out towards Barcola. Bradley Barcola, the former Lyon man. 45 million euros for him. Looks a snip. Vitinha. Kvaratskhelia in space on the PSG right. Still a patience about them.
Yeah, they're not in a hurry, as I mentioned. They're happy with what they got, honestly. If they get another one, they'll be delighted, of course, but they're quite content to keep the ball and not throw it into the box and let Martinez come and grab it. They just want to wait and try and create one more perfect chance. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. They're happy to take what they have.
What they have to guard against is conceding to Villa on the counter-attack, which is the only way that Villa realistically are likely to score. And so PSG just maintaining possession to a fault. Hakimi. 10 yards outside the Villa box as they work it back square through Kvaratskhelia. They'll take it to the left-hand edge of the penalty area now. The movement comes to his right-hand side from João Neves. Turn from him. Back onto the left boot of Nuno Mendes. Good run down the line by Barcola. Again, probably 30, 40 passes in this move, but Villa continue to be diligent out of possession, keeping a tight shape behind the ball. Kamara sitting deeper and deeper the longer the game goes on, very much in a back five now. Vitinha to his left, now worked out towards Barcola. Kvaratskhelia will be able to bring it forward. Barcola waiting if they can flick it into his path. Vitinha try to do that with some almost effective showboating, but it will be clear. PSG working back out to the left-hand side. No offside against Nuno Mendes, which was the claim. He's still got it just on the edge of the penalty area, and Disasi lets him get the ball in. High ball swung in then, and off the top of João Neves' head, out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Martinez. You're listening to PSG Villa in the Champions League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has all the vehicles that your business needs, with the flexibility to rent for minutes or months. Here's Andy Townsend.
Yeah, lots of good possession from PSG. I've been very impressed again with the control of the game that they have. They showed that brilliantly, didn't they, in the two legs against Liverpool. But they're not really going hammer and tong at Villa to try and find that third goal. Now, only in the fullness of time will we know whether or not that is perhaps a mistake, because once they got the second, as I mentioned to Adrian at half time, once they got the second, there was always that chance, if they really go for Villa and can get that third, then all of a sudden they can break the back of the tie a little bit. That hasn't happened, and that's partly because they've just tried to control and keep the ball, and Villa have done well in managing that. But I do think that Paris could perhaps have gone a little harder for that third goal. It's just not been the way that they've gone about it.
Well, their away form is so good, I'm sure they would back themselves to win at Villa Park if they needed to. Yep. So they'll feel that if they go to that game and only need a draw, they're in with an outstanding chance. Here comes the long Villa throw. Digne getting it onto the head of one of the Villa players. It's just brushed off him and off Onana and gone into the side netting.
Yeah.
A rare chance to load the PSG penalty area, but it comes to nothing, and we've got 4 minutes to go. And then after us, Jason Cundy and Dean Saunders will be taking your calls on the Sports Bar. 03717 223344. It gets you through to Jason and Dino, your chance to have your say on everything that has happened tonight. I'm sure the boys will be talking about what's coming up tomorrow as well. 3 more games for you. Man United at Lyon, Chelsea in Poland against Legia Warsaw, Tottenham at home to Eintracht Frankfurt. And all 3 of those games are on the TalkSport network tomorrow. Last knockings of this one, 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. PSG 2, Villa 1. Ball inside PSG territory with Pacho playing a long one over the top, and Barcola chasing after that. He's going to get there and pull it back. More danger here for Aston Villa, and another great block comes in. Ezri Konsa and Disasi both getting in the way. Then Vitinha tries to help it forward, and Digne reads that and gets to it before Dembele can pick it up. He plays it out towards Morgan Rogers. Rogers' ball forward is intercepted, and in the end he's got to concede possession. Put it out of play for a throw. It seems a long time ago now that Morgan Rogers gave Villa the lead in this game.
Doesn't it just? It really does, yeah. They've worked really hard, the Villa boys. This is an impressive PSG team, the way they move this ball around here, and Villa have had to use all their discipline to make sure they keep their shape, retain their shape, support each other, back each other up, get those blocks in on the edge of the box.
We're in the 89th minute, deep in that. Zaire Emery and Barcola, the 2 substitutes combined. Dembele has had few opportunities to extend his brilliant recent run of 27 goals in 23 games. Ball played down towards Kvaratskhelia now on the PSG right. It comes off Digne and goes out of play. QPR have won that game at Oxford, and full-time details will follow the end of this game, but they've won it by 3-1 and it's surely safe. Opportunity for Hakimi, right-hand side of the penalty area. He's pulled it back. Kvaratskhelia. 3 Villa players converge on him. Pau Torres is able to knock it away. Onana then goes down, and the referee's given a free kick to Aston Villa. They'll be in no hurry to take this, about 6 yards outside their own penalty area. 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, that's well played there between Pau Torres and Onana. Just drawing that foul as they gradually get up to the halfway line. The Villa back four. Emi Martinez midway in his own half will be looking to knock this 60, 70 odd yards to Ollie Watkins and let him fight for it and try and knock it out for a throw in and just keep PSG as far away from that Villa goal as they can.
And the fourth official, Simone Sotza, indicates only 3 additional minutes to be played. That's the result for Villa. Maatsen inside the penalty area here for Watkins. Chance for Rodgers on the turn, but difficult chance, and he's fired it high and wide at the top right-hand corner.
Unlucky. He actually moved it really nicely. You know, he did. He had his back to goal when he received that, and a quick shimmy and shuffle with his feet, and he'd engineered it onto his right foot, and he's kind of a half on the turn, trying to turn in it that in the far top corner. Not easy to do, and he just got underneath it a little too much.
Pacho towards the edge of the penalty area, midway through the first of the 3 additional minutes. 2-1 to PSG. Brought forward towards the edge of the D. Will Villa be able to deny Paris Saint-Germain one more clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity? Barkla made a run, but into an offside position. So PSG work it back again. I mean, you have to bear in mind that PSG have won each of their last 13 away games in all competitions. So you could argue that even this score is significantly below par as far as Villa are concerned. But believe you me, they'll settle for it. They haven't got it yet, though. Martinez comes out, and he's beaten. And Aston Villa might be too. 3-1 in stoppage time. Another moment of brilliance. Quick feed inside the penalty area. Dembele keeping a watching brief as Nuno Mendes came onto it. And just as it looked as though Villa was still going to be in touch going back to Birmingham, that might well have taken the tie out of their hands once and for all.
Oh, that is a massive goal in the tie. It's a very good one. It really is. It's a brilliant ball from Dembele to Nuno Mendes, who does great on the left foot. He shapes to shoot. He drops Emi Martinez to the floor, chops back onto his right foot, clips it over the goalkeeper into the back of the net. Brilliant, brilliant goal. And it's a devastating blow, that, for Villa's chances to get to the Champions League semis. They've got mountains to climb now in a week. They really have.
Well, feature Kvaratskhelia will come off, and Gonzalo Ramos is going to come on to replace him. He might not even get a touch. Villa look crestfallen. Hands on hips. I think every single player in the Villa team, with the exception of Luca Digne, who's still running his hands through his hair, frustrated at just how this has gone away from him right at the end. 2-1. Gave them a puncher's chance. 3-1, you'd say. The form that PSG have been in, particularly away from home, gives Aston Villa next to no chance. And PSG will bring it forward again right at the end of the game here. Barkla, another right-footed shot, only just cleared the bar. They're claiming a corner. It isn't. And that is the end of the game. It could have been much, much worse for Aston Villa. But that devastating stoppage time strike from Nuno Mendes surely takes this out of their reach. It was a night, the first night for more than 40 years, where Aston Villa led a European Cup quarter-final, but they only led it for 4 minutes. It unravelled quickly after that either side at half-time, before Mendes supplied surely the defining blow. Aston Villa leave the field with heads held high. They gave everything, but they were well beaten by a very tidy side. PSG 3, Aston Villa 1.
Well, Emi Martinez is absolutely crushed by that. He's been sat down, and PSG have made it 3-1 right at the end. And you've got to feel for the Villa fans in the corner, feel for the Villa players as well. Andy Townsend, some to me, as those Villa players go over to the Villa fans to thank them for their support. The Villa players, listen, PSG were all over them. You can look at all the stats and it was all Paris Saint-Germain. They were brilliant at times, but some of the football was sensational. But Aston Villa sat in, concentrated, focused, did a brilliant job to take a 2-1 back to Villa Park, and then in a flash, it's 3-1.
Just when they thought they'd got that they got over the line, Aid, with a 2-1 defeat, they were kind of just sat in there, weren't they? They were a little square, about 30 yards from goal. Dembele drops off the front line, picks the ball up. Nuno Mendes from that left-back position makes a searing run in between Dizazi and Ezri Konsa. The ball is slipped into that gap, and when he gets there, he shows great composure for a fullback. He was on his left foot, well within his rights to hit it. Martinez had come out to deny him, chopped it back onto the right foot, dropped Martinez and Konsa to the floor, scooped it over the pair of them to give PSG 3-1. Doesn't flatter them at all. They were absolutely excellent. I'm just really, I feel for the Villa boys who gave everything, had very much a game plan in mind to make life difficult tonight, to frustrate tonight, and they very nearly got away with that. The tie would have been so different if they're going back to Villa Park, needing just one to get back in it. Now they're going to have to produce something unbelievable against a really good side. This PSG team are ready to win the Champions League. All the other guys, as I've watched them, and I've been watching this tournament for 20 plus years, in all the other PSG teams I've seen, they haven't been ready to win it. This lot are.
Wow, and I tell you what, Prince William predicted a 2-1 to Villa. He'd have taken a 2-1 to PSG. I just hope he didn't leave before the end because he doesn't know the full story. Let's talk about that first goal in the second half, because we talked about Matty Cash on a yellow at half-time. He's taken off. Disasi hasn't had time to get the measure of anyone on the pitch, and he's absolutely ruined. They basically ended his loan spell with that goal.
I mean, a brilliant goal. He's a talent, Kvaratskhelia. He really is. I don't know, I'm trying to think who he would remind us of, Age. You know, he's a bit of a throwback. His socks are off around his ankles, and yet nobody can get close enough to wrap him on the shins.
There's a touch of Messi about him.
There's something about him that tells me a player from maybe years gone by, but he runs with the ball so beautifully. He's always got his head up. He's always looking for a pass, but his goal was a tremendous strike from a tight angle against Emi Martinez. You've got some work to do from there, and he slammed it into the roof of the net. I just felt maybe if Dizazi had been on 10 or 15 minutes more, Aid, might have been a little bit more up for getting out and closing him down. What he did, he backed off, and when you're a defender running backwards and you've got a forward coming at you and you end up in the box, you're on your heels, and it's very, very difficult. The finish, though, was absolutely sublime. He's a top player.
Yeah, Kvaratskhelia has been at Napoli, so there's a bit of Maradona. He's now at PSG. There's a bit of Messi. He's such a good player. Doué as well, who went off in the second half, was brilliant towards the end of the first half. And that third goal right at the end, it's a bigger shot than I have for my Sunday dinner, mate. And it's done. What did Villa do wrong for that goal?
I think they thought they were over the line. I think they genuinely thought they were. And
they switched off a bit.
Just switched off. Dembele drops off the front line. There was 4 white shirts all in a line marking nobody. Dembele drops into about 40 yards from goal, centre of the pitch, and is able to pick the ball up, turn, spot a runner who's come from behind him, Nuno Mendes, in between fullback and centre half. Brilliant pass and a great finish. Really, really good goal. As I said, look, PSG deserved their victory. Do I think 3-1 flattered them? No, it didn't, because, again, they create so many great situations. Just a shame, real shame for me old club that they couldn't take that one next week, just one goal out of it. Look, it's been done before. We were talking about these amazing comebacks before the game. Villa are going to probably have to produce a performance like no other this season in order to get back into this game. Tell you what, I'll settle for Villa score first next week at some point, whether that's first 10 or last 10. Settle for that and then see where that takes them. But it's going to be extremely difficult against a damn good team, that lot.